whether she sings around the world or crusades for humanitarian causes. Ilte Lee, this Los Angeles-based European singer, songwriter, actress, and poet, always inspires, motivates, and touches people's lives. Ilte Lee, you are an international poet, fighting for human rights in 3 languages and on 2 continents. What are you fighting for this time?
Well, on top of my list is a national emergency regarding gun violence and kids killing kids. And it's time to do something about it. Some people throw their hands up in the air saying, "There's nothing I can do." Well, I've got news for you. There's a lot that you can do.
You mean you found a magic formula and now you've got all of the right answers?
Not at all. But maybe, just maybe, I've got all of the right questions to make people think. Sometimes our voice must get angry in order to be heard, like in my upcoming poem, which is, by the way, a wake-up call to the media.
Is the media your scapegoat?
Of course not. There is shared responsibility in our kids getting violent and dehumanized. There is parental responsibility, there is social responsibility, and of course there is a media responsibility, since our children will copy what they see on the screen.
What is your message to the media?
Grow up. Be responsible. If your head is full of destructive garbage and you must express it, then take it to a private site. But don't dump it on us. It's time for you to understand that we don't want your garbage. You have the right to dump it, but I have the same right not to be exposed to any brutally degrading sex and graphic violence.
Isn't it just a little bit too easy to judge the world from your ivory tower? Look at the seaside sanctuary that you live at, surrounded by serenity, beauty, and harmony. As a child, you were already privileged. Zilihi, the Hungarian Hemingway, is amongst your illustrious ancestors. You were born into European nobility and spoke many languages as a child. Your father was a great scholar and a deeply humanitarian philanthrope who practiced law in 3 countries and spoke 8 languages. As the product of a loving family, you became a European TV personality. Indeed, you are a celebrated author, composer, recording artist, poet who writes in 3 languages and is published in international magazines, graphic artist who illustrates her own books, motivational speaker, talk show host, photographer, painter, actress, screenwriter, TV producer, and the list goes on and on. I was told that you have 18 hobbies.
That's why I need such a big house.
Your pictures are spread over magazines and newspapers around the world. You were friends with royalties. You were dressed by Christian Dior and Nina Ricci. Paco Rabanne fashioned his first metal dress on you for the premiere at the Olympia. You were invited by the General de Gaulle to the Paris Opera to honor the King and Queen of Belgium. and you had your first kiss from Salvador Dali. Mayor Bradley of Los Angeles honored you for your achievements and volunteer work. And here is your invitation to the White House. With such a fairy tale lifestyle, how can you possibly relate to the underprivileged, fighting for survival in the frightening world of the inner city?
How can I? I grew up destitute in the darkest days of the communist terror. We lost everything, our home, our country, and our dignity. Just to buy me a pair of shoes or a winter coat was a major burden on my parents. I didn't have toys or dolls to play with as a child. I only had pots and pans. I only had my dreams, big, crazy dreams. And everybody was laughing at me. But you know what? I realized all my dreams one by one. And now I would like to inspire others to do the same. That's my way to repay society for the chance I've been given.
And you do that very well. One of your songs helped to build a home for blind children in Mexico City. Another helped to raise money on the Jerry Lewis Telethon. And a song you wrote about the courageous accomplishments of a dying boy brought him tears of joy and brightened his last days. As a legacy from your father, you helped the homeless, the mentally ill, and the abused kids. It seems that wherever there is human suffering, Ilte, you heal with your guitar.
Or fight, like in my upcoming poem, stay away from our kids.